Hello, everyone, and a massive welcome back to the show. It is so good to be here with you today. I am Tom.
And I am Ria. Hello, everyone. It really is wonderful to be back behind the microphone. We have such an interesting and honestly a very life-changing topic to discuss today.
Life-changing is a big word, Ria. That is a tall order for a Tuesday. But I actually agree with you. Today isn't just about learning grammar or lists of vocabulary. It is about lifestyle. It is about the habits that build the foundation for everything else we do.
Exactly. You know, Tom, we often get emails from our listeners asking us the same questions. They ask, how do I find the time to study? How do I stay motivated when I am tired? How do I become fluent faster? And usually, they are looking for a magic app or a secret textbook.
Right. They want the shortcut. And we all want shortcuts. I would love a shortcut to getting six-pack abs, but I haven't found one yet.
Me neither. But the answer to those questions about English and about success in general usually hides in the boring parts of our day, the parts we do on autopilot. Specifically, the morning.
The morning. The dreaded morning. I have to confess something to you, Ria, and to everyone listening. I am not naturally a morning person. I am a night owl. I come alive at 10 o'clock at night. So when we decided to talk about morning routines for success, I felt a little bit like a hypocrite.
A hypocrite? That is a strong word. You mean you feel like you are pretending to be something you are not?
Exactly. A hypocrite is someone who says one thing but does another. I wanted to preach about waking up early, but usually I'm hitting the snooze button 3 or 4 times. Or at least I used to.
Used to? Okay, this sounds promising. Have you turned a new leaf, Tom?
I have turned over a new leaf. That is a great idiom. It means to start fresh or change your behavior for the better. Yes, I have. For the last 2 weeks, I have been experimenting with a serious morning routine. And I have to say, it changes everything.
I love hearing that. I am naturally a bit more of a morning person, but I can easily fall into bad habits. If I pick up my phone the second I open my eyes, my whole day is ruined. It's like I have given my brain away to the internet before I have even brushed my teeth.
That is the worst feeling. You wake up, you're groggy, you reach for the phone, and suddenly you're looking at photos of someone's cat or reading depressing news, and just like that, you're reacting to the world instead of creating your day.
Reacting instead of creating. That is deep, Tom. I think that is the core of why we're talking about this. For our listeners who are learning English, the morning is this magical window of time. It's quiet. The world hasn't started making demands yet. If you can harness that time, you can reach fluency so much faster.
So let's break this down. Let's talk about what a successful morning routine actually looks like. And I don't mean we have to wake up at 4 in the morning like some army general. It just has to be intentional.
Intentional is the key word. It means doing something on purpose, not just by accident. So, Tom, walk me through this new routine of yours. You wake up, the alarm goes off. What happens next?
Okay, so step one was the hardest for me. I put my alarm clock, which is my phone, across the room. I literally have to get out of my warm, cozy bed and walk across the cold floor to turn it off.
Oh, that is the oldest trick in the book. But it works, doesn't it?
It works because once I'm standing up, the hardest part is over. The friction of getting out of bed is gone. And then, and this is crucial, I do not look at social media. I go straight to the kitchen and I drink a massive glass of water.
Hydration. It sounds so simple, almost too simple to mention, but people forget that after sleeping for 8 hours, you are dehydrated. Your brain is like a dry sponge. It needs water to function.
Exactly. I think of it like fuel for a car. You cannot drive the car if the tank is empty. After the water, I do something that I think our listeners will find really interesting. I do 5 minutes of journaling, but I do it in English.
I love this. Please tell me more about that. You are a native speaker, so obviously you write in English. But for our listeners, switching their brain to English first thing in the morning is a powerful technique.
It is huge. I'm actually learning Spanish right now, as you know. So sometimes I try to write a few sentences in Spanish. But the idea is to dump your thoughts onto paper. It's called a brain dump. You just write whatever is worrying you, whatever you're excited about, or just what you have to do that day.
And doing that in your target language, in English, sets the tone for the day. It tells your brain that English is a priority. It is not something you do later when you are tired. It is the first thing you do.
Right. And it doesn't have to be perfect grammar. Nobody is going to read it. It is just for you. It clears the mental clutter. After the writing, I do some movement. Nothing crazy, just stretching or a quick walk. And then the most important part for me is the eat the frog method.
Eat the frog. I bet some of our listeners are making a funny face right now. Please clarify that we're not actually eating amphibians for breakfast.
No frogs are harmed in my morning routine. Eat the frog is a famous productivity concept from Brian Tracy. The idea comes from a quote that says, if the first thing you do in the morning is eat a live frog, you can go through the rest of the day knowing the worst is behind you.
So the frog is your most difficult, most important task. The one you are procrastinating on, the one you are dreading.
Exactly. For me, that might be writing a difficult script or doing my taxes. For our listeners, that frog might be studying a complex grammar point, or practicing pronunciation, or recording themselves speaking.
I think that is brilliant because we have the most willpower in the morning. As the day goes on, we get decision fatigue. We get tired. By 8 o'clock at night, I don't want to conjugate verbs. I want to watch Netflix and eat popcorn.
Precisely. If you leave your English learning until the very end of the day, there's a 90% chance you won't do it. Or if you do it, you won't focus well. But if you do it at 7 in the morning, it is done. You have a win under your belt.
A win under your belt. That means you have already achieved something. It gives you confidence, and confidence is everything in language learning. If you start the day feeling proud of yourself, you carry that energy into your meetings, your conversations, everything.
Let's talk about the reality, though, Ria, because routines are great on paper, but life is messy. What happens when you didn't sleep well, or your kids wake up screaming, or you just feel terrible?
That is such an important point. We cannot be robots. Perfection is the enemy of progress. I used to be a perfectionist. If I missed one day of my routine, I would say, well, I ruined it. I might as well give up. I would quit for a month just because I missed one Tuesday.
That is the all or nothing mentality. It is so dangerous. It's like dropping your phone on the ground and seeing a tiny scratch and then deciding to smash the phone with a hammer because it's not perfect anymore.
That is a hilarious image, but it is exactly what we do. So my advice, and what I try to practice, is the rule of never miss twice.
Never miss twice. I like that. Break that down for me.
It means, okay, maybe you overslept today. Maybe you didn't do your English journaling. Fine. Forgive yourself immediately. Do not beat yourself up. But make a commitment that you will not miss tomorrow. You can have a bad day, but don't let it become a bad week.
That shows so much self-compassion. And I think we need to be kind to ourselves when we're learning something difficult like English. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You don't become fluent in a week. You become fluent over years of small mornings.
Years of small mornings. That is beautiful, Tom. It really is the accumulation of small habits. You know, there's another part of the morning routine we haven't touched on yet, which I think is a game changer for listening skills.
What is that?
Dead time. The time when your body is busy, but your brain is free. Like when you are brushing your teeth, making coffee, taking a shower, or driving to work.
Ah, yes, the hidden minutes.
Exactly. I have a rule. If my hands are busy, My ears should be learning. So while I'm chopping fruit for breakfast, I'm listening to a podcast, maybe even this podcast. Even if it's just 10 minutes, that's 10 minutes of immersion every single day. Over a year, that's 60 hours of listening practice.
60 hours? That's more than a university course. And you didn't have to find extra time. You were making breakfast anyway. You just layered English on top of it.
Stacking habits. That is what James Clear talks about in Atomic Habits. You take a habit you already have, like drinking coffee, and you stack a new habit on top of it, like reviewing 5 vocabulary flashcards.
It makes it so much less intimidating. I think a lot of people feel overwhelmed by the idea of a routine. They think they need an hour of meditation and an hour of exercise, but you can start with 5 minutes.
5 minutes is better than 0 minutes. Consistently doing 5 minutes is better than doing 2 hours once a month.
Ria, I want to ask you something personal about your mornings. You mentioned you were more of a morning person, but do you have a specific thing you do when you just do not feel motivated? When you wake up and you just feel blah?
Oh, absolutely. We all have those blah days. When that happens, I focus on gratitude. It sounds a bit cheesy, I know, but if I wake up feeling heavy or negative, I force myself to think of 3 very small things I am happy about.
Like what? Give me an example.
Like, I am happy that my bed is comfortable. I'm happy that I have hot coffee waiting for me. I am happy that the sun is shining. Just shifting my focus from I am tired to I am lucky changes my brain chemistry. It gives me just enough energy to get up.
That shift in perspective is powerful. And actually, that is a great English exercise, too. Speaking out loud to yourself. I am grateful for this hot water. I am grateful for this quiet house. You are practicing sentence structure and positive thinking at the same time.
Talking to yourself is the best kept secret of language learners. I always tell my students, narrate your life. As you go through your morning, say what you are doing. I am pouring the milk. I am searching for my keys. I am putting on my shoes.
It feels silly at first, doesn't it?
Oh, it feels ridiculous. You feel like a crazy person. But nobody is listening, and it bridges the gap between thinking and speaking. It connects your physical actions to the English words.
I'm going to try that with my Spanish. Estoy buscando mis llaves. See, I'm practicing right now.
Perfect. And you know, Tom, there's one thing we need to warn our listeners about. The danger of comparison.
Yes, the social media trap.
Right. You go on Instagram or YouTube and you see these influencers with their perfect aesthetic mornings. They wake up looking beautiful, they have a pristine house, they drink green juice, they read 50 pages of a book, and you look at your own chaotic life and feel like a failure.
That is not real life. That is a curated highlight reel. It's a performance. Real mornings are messy. Sometimes you spill the coffee. Sometimes your hair looks terrible. Sometimes you just want to go back to sleep. Success isn't about looking perfect. It is about showing up anyway.
Showing up anyway. I want to tattoo that on my forehead. That is the definition of grit. And grit is what gets you to fluency.
So let's try to summarize this for everyone listening so they can actually take action tomorrow morning. We don't want them to just listen and nod. We want them to do something.
Okay, let's build a starter kit for a success morning for an English learner.
Step 1. Stop hitting snooze. Put the phone across the room.
Step 2, hydrate. Glass of water before anything else.
Step 3. Mindfulness or gratitude, preferably in English. Write down 3 things or just free write for 5 minutes.
Step 4, input. Listen to English while you're getting ready. Podcasts, news, audiobook, even if it's just for 10 minutes.
And step 5, the frog. If you have active studying to do, try to do it 15 minutes of it before you leave the house or start work.
That sounds manageable. That doesn't sound scary.
It's totally doable. And imagine the compound effect. If you do that for a month, you will feel completely different. You'll feel clearer, sharper, and your English will improve automatically because you are prioritizing it.
I have a challenge for our listeners.
I love challenges. What is it?
I want everyone listening to pick just one thing from this list to try tomorrow morning. Don't try to change your whole life overnight. Just pick one. Maybe it's the water. Maybe it's the listening. Try it tomorrow and see how you feel.
And then tell us. We love hearing from you. Send us a message or leave a comment if you're watching this on YouTube. Tell us, I woke up and listened to English. We will be your cheerleaders.
Absolutely. We're in this together. You know, Tom, talking about this has actually motivated me. I've been slipping a little bit with my own routine lately. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be extra disciplined.
Me too. I'm going to write in my journal in Spanish. I'm committing to it right now.
Accountability. Now that you've said it on the podcast, you have to do it.
That's the dangerous part about recording these conversations. I can't back out now.
Tom, before we wrap up, I want to touch on one last thing. It's the feeling of rushing. I feel like so many people start their day in a panic. They're running late, they're stressed, they're shouting. How does a routine stop that?
That is the reactive mode we talked about earlier. When you rush, your cortisol levels, the stress hormone, spike first thing in the morning. Your brain goes into survival mode. It is fight or flight. And you cannot learn a language when you are in fight or flight mode. Your brain literally shuts down the creative centers.
That is scientific fact. Learning requires a calm, open mind. A routine acts like a buffer. It's a shield against the chaos. By waking up just 20 or 30 minutes earlier, you buy yourself peace. You are buying sanity.
I like that. Buying sanity. And the cost is just 30 minutes of sleep. But the quality of sleep you get when you're stressed isn't good anyway, so it is a worthy trade.
It really is. You know, sometimes I visualize my day like a house. The morning routine is the foundation. If the foundation is cracked and shaky, the house is going to wobble when the wind blows. But if the foundation is solid concrete, the storms can come, the stress can come, and the house stands firm.
That is a great metaphor. And English is one of the bricks in that house. We are building this structure brick by brick, day by day.
And some days laying the bricks is boring, let's be honest. Studying phrasal verbs isn't always a party.
It is definitely not a party. Phrasal verbs are a headache.
But that is where the routine saves you. You don't do it because it's fun. You do it because it's what you do. It's who you are. You are a person who studies English, period.
Identity. That is the deepest level of behavior change. When you stop saying, I'm trying to learn English, and start saying, I am an English learner, or I am a bilingual person in training, everything changes.
I love bilingual person in training. It sounds so professional.
It does. It gives it respect. You're respecting your own goals.
So, Tom, as we look at the clock, is there any final thought or maybe a favorite quote you have about mornings?
There is a quote by Aristotle. Well, actually, some people say it wasn't Aristotle, but let's pretend it was. It says, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit."
Oh, that is a classic for a reason.
It applies perfectly here. Fluency is not an act. You don't just wake up fluent one day by magic. Fluency is a habit. It is the habit of listening, speaking, and thinking in English repeatedly.
And the morning is the best time to build that habit. My favorite quote is a bit simpler. It is, win the morning, win the day.
Short, punchy, and true. If you win the first hour, you have momentum.
Exactly. Well, Tom, this has been such a refreshing conversation. I feel ready to tackle my day, even though it's not morning right now.
Same here. I hope our listeners are feeling that energy too. We want you to know that we believe in you. We know it's hard to wake up early. We know it's hard to study when you're busy, but you are capable of doing hard things.
You really are. Every time you choose to work on your English, you're investing in yourself and your future, and that's something to be proud of.
So thank you for letting us be a part of your routine today, whether you're listening in the morning, on your commute, or while washing the dishes.
We appreciate you so much. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, so you don't miss our next conversation. We have some great topics coming up.
We certainly do. Have a fantastic day, everyone. Go out there and win your morning.
Bye, everyone. Keep talking, keep learning, and keep growing. See you next time.
See ya. Conversation continues. Part 2. Deep dive into techniques. You know what, Ria? I feel like we shouldn't stop just yet. We have a bit more time, and I feel like we touched on journaling, but didn't give people enough concrete examples. Do you mind if we go a little deeper for the listeners who really want the nitty-gritty details?
I would love that. I think the details are where the magic happens. Let's keep the recording rolling. What specifically about journaling do you think we should expand on?
Well, I remember when I first started trying to write in a foreign language, I stared at the blank page and felt paralyzed. I didn't know what to write. I felt like I had to write a novel.
The blank page syndrome. It's terrifying. It's like the paper is judging you.
Yes. So I think we should give our listeners some specific prompts, questions they can ask themselves every morning to get the ink flowing.
That's a great idea. I have a few that I use with my students. Can I share my favorite 3?
Please do.
Okay, prompt number 1 is, what is the one thing I must achieve today to feel satisfied? This forces you to use the future tense and modal verbs like must or have to.
I like that. It's functional. It helps you plan.
Exactly. Prompt number 2 is, how am I feeling right now and why? This is great for emotional vocabulary. Instead of just saying, I am good, you have to dig deeper. I am feeling anxious because I have a meeting, or I am feeling energetic because I slept well.
That is crucial because emotional vocabulary is often what separates intermediate learners from advanced learners. Advanced learners can express nuance.
Spot on. And prompt number 3 is a bit more fun. If I could be anywhere in the world right now, where would I be? This triggers the conditional tense. I would be on a beach. I would be in Paris.
I would be eating a croissant.
Priorities, Tom. Always food with you.
Always. But that creates a safe space to practice grammar structures that are usually tricky. Conditionals are hard, but if you write one every morning, they become natural.
And that is the key, making the unnatural become natural through repetition. What about you, Tom? Do you have a specific technique for the input side of things? We mentioned podcasts, but how do you ensure you actually understand what you are hearing when you are half asleep?
That is a really valid question, because if you just put on a BBC News report and zone out, you aren't learning. It's just noise.
Passive listening versus active listening.
Right. Now, in the morning, we don't always have the energy for fully active listening with a pen and paper. So I like repetitive listening.
How does that work?
I pick one short audio clip, maybe 3 minutes long, and I listen to it 3 times in a row while I'm getting ready.
3 times? That sounds repetitive.
It is, but the first time, I just get the gist, the main idea. The second time, I try to pick out specific words I didn't catch the first time. And the third time, I try to shadow or repeat some of the phrases out loud.
I see. So by the 3rd time, your brain has mapped the sounds. You aren't struggling to keep up anymore.
Exactly. It removes the anxiety. And because it's short, it fits perfectly into the time it takes to shower and get dressed.
I think that is a great tip for morning routines because it doesn't require extra time. It just requires a play button.
Ria, I want to pivot back to something you mentioned earlier about decision fatigue. I think this is the #1 killer of success for English learners.
Oh, absolutely. Explain what you mean by that in this context.
Well, if you wake up and you have to decide, what should I study today? Should I do grammar? Should I read? Which book? Where is my book? You're using up all your mental energy just making choices.
And by the time you decide, you're too tired to actually study.
Bingo. So part of the morning routine actually starts the night before.
Preach! The night before prep is the secret weapon of the morning routine.
Tell us what your night before prep looks like.
It is very simple. Before I go to bed, I lay out my workout clothes, but for English, I would say, open the book to the page you are going to read. Put it on the table. Put your notebook and pen right on top of it. Or if you use an app, have the notification ready.
Eliminate the friction. Make it easier to do the habit than to not do it.
Exactly. If the book is open, I will read it. If I have to go search for it on a shelf, I'll probably just turn on the TV. We are simple creatures, really. We follow the path of least resistance.
So we need to design our environment to make English the path of least resistance.
That is it. Environment design. It sounds fancy, but it just means putting things where you need them.
I have a friend who actually taped vocabulary lists to his bathroom mirror.
I have done that. It works.
So while he's brushing his teeth, he's staring at 5 new words. He literally cannot avoid learning them.
That is extreme, but effective. And it takes advantage of that dead time we talked about.
You know, Ria, there's an emotional component to this, too. I think sometimes people avoid their morning routine because they're afraid of the work. They wake up with anxiety.
The Sunday scaries, but every morning.
Yeah, and I think we need to talk about how to make the morning routine enjoyable. If it's painful, you won't do it for long.
That is so true. We move toward pleasure and away from pain. So how do we make studying English in the morning pleasurable?
Pair it with something you love. This is another form of habit stacking. For me, I love my morning coffee. I am a coffee snob. I buy the expensive beans.
I have seen your coffee maker. It looks like a spaceship.
It is a delicate piece of machinery. But I have a rule. I'm only allowed to drink my delicious spaceship coffee while I'm doing my journaling or reading.
Ooh, I like that. So the coffee is the reward for the activity.
Yes, if I don't do the reading, I don't get the coffee. So now my brain associates English reading with delicious caffeine and warmth.
That is Pavlovian conditioning. You are training yourself like a dog.
Hey, if it works, it works.
No, I think that is brilliant. For me, it is music. I put on a lo-fi beats playlist that I really love. It instantly relaxes me. I only listen to that playlist when I am focusing. So when I hear the music, my brain knows, okay, it is time to work, but it is going to be pleasant.
Atmosphere matters. Lighting matters. If you're trying to study in a messy, dark room, it is depressing. Clean your desk. Open the curtains. Let the light in. It makes a huge difference.
I want to ask you about consistency versus intensity, because I see learners who try to do 2 hours every morning, and they burn out in a week.
The burnout cycle. It is tragic. I see it all the time. Students say, Ria, I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. and study for 3 hours. And I say, please don't.
Why not? Isn't more better?
Not if you quit. The best routine is the one you can stick to on your worst day. Let me repeat that. The best routine is the one you can stick to on your worst day.
That is powerful. On your worst day, when you have a headache and it's raining and you're sad, can you still do 3 hours? No.
No, but can you do 10 minutes? Yes, probably.
So we should set the bar low.
Set the bar low for the minimum, but let yourself go higher if you feel good. Commit to 10 minutes. If you get into the flow and do an hour, fantastic, that's a bonus. But if you only do 10 minutes, you still win.
That psychology prevents the feeling of failure, because if you aim for an hour and do 30 minutes, you feel like you failed. But if you aim for 10 minutes and do 30, you feel like a champion.
And feeling like a champion releases dopamine. Dopamine makes you want to do it again tomorrow. It's a positive feedback loop.
We are hacking our own brains today, Ria. This is neuroscience mixed with language learning.
It is, but language learning is a brain activity. You cannot separate the psychology from the vocabulary. They are intertwined.
I have a question from a listener, actually, that fits this perfectly. Can I read it?
Go for it.
This is from Marco in Brazil. He asks, Tom and Ria, I try to wake up early, but my family is very loud. I have kids and a dog. It is chaos. How can I have a morning routine when I have no privacy?
Oh, Marco, I feel you. That is a very real challenge. Not everyone has the luxury of silence. What would you tell Marco?
I would say two things. First, can you wake up even 15 minutes before the chaos starts? Sometimes beating the house by 15 minutes gives you that golden silence.
And if that is impossible?
Then you have to adapt the routine to the noise. This is where noise-canceling headphones are a worthwhile investment, if you can afford them. Or involve the family.
Involve them?
If the kids are up, teach them English. Make your morning routine about teaching your kids 5 words. This is a spoon. This is an apple.
That is clever. Teaching is the best way to learn.
Exactly. You are speaking out loud, you are practicing vocabulary, and you are spending time with your kids. It changes the problem into an opportunity.
And for the dog?
Talk to the dog in English. The dog won't judge your pronunciation. My dog is very fluent in listening. He knows sit, stay, and treat.
The universal language of food.
Marco, do not let the chaos stop you. Adapt the routine. If you cannot sit and write, maybe you can listen with one earbud in while you're making breakfast for the kids. Flexibility is key.
Flexibility. That is the final ingredient. A rigid tree breaks in the wind. A flexible tree survives.
Look at us getting all philosophical with nature metaphors today.
It's the morning vibe. It makes us philosophical.
Tom, as we're really wrapping up now, I want to recap the part 2 tips we just gave because they were really specific.
Sure.
Use prompts for journaling to avoid blank page syndrome. Use repetitive listening 3 times to master comprehension. Prepare the night before. Open the book, set out the clothes. Pair the habit with a reward. Coffee, music. Set a low minimum to avoid burnout.
That is a solid list. If you just take one of those, your English will improve.
I think I'm going to try the repetitive listening tomorrow. I've been lazy with my listening practice.
Report back to me. I'll ask you next week.
Deal. Well, everyone, thank you for sticking around for this extended conversation. We just couldn't stop talking.
We are passionate about this because we know it works. We have seen it change our students' lives.
Have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are in the world.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.